Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 to 8, says, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace." It's interesting to see how the words written by Solomon in this passage start to make sense for us at certain points in our lives. The Bible says that Solomon was the wisest man in the world. When God told him to ask for anything, he asked only for wisdom. At the end of his life, Solomon reflects on everything he experienced, all the things he enjoyed, food, wealth, and people, and he says it's all vanity, meaning all these things are temporary. When he remembers the words written, and the upgrade that shines in the movie that plays again, he began to realize how God has been acting in our lives. How many battles have we had to face so that others could identify with us? How God directed our lives in a way that the paths we took, although often difficult, led us to encounter the Lord. How God transforms our character over the years so that we need His presence, and moved by circumstances, we seek Him more intensely. How many times has God allowed us to be defeated, our plans frustrated, and often we see people who don't serve God getting ahead of us? How many times have we had to accept that things have always been harder for us, and everything in our lives has always been easier? That the things we achieved were hard-won, unlike some people who seem to have everything easier. Often we see that we settle for being at the end of the line when we thought we would be first. The truth is that all of this was God's plan for our lives. The romantic relationships, the financial and marital duties we face, the colleges, everything was for our growth. At some point in life, we can look back and understand that, in every moment, God has always been by our side. In moments when we couldn't walk anymore and thought we were the illustrious child, He carried us on His shoulder. We were like a ball in the hands of a goalkeeper. No matter what you've been through, in the not-so-distant future, you will look back and feel that it was all worth it. God is taking care of every detail. Nothing escapes the eyes of the Lord. And even if your life seems to get worse every day, if you serve God, stay calm. Even if you don't see it, even if you don't understand, your time was to cry, so cry. If you've been living times of peace and glory, thank God. If it's been a time of fighting, fight, stand firm, because He is God, and the plans of the Lord are greater than ours. God bless you, and this was another Bible devotional.